let's see what's going on with the Disney adults world.
Disney content on TikTok and you'll see them everywhere. Adults on rental scooters clutching slushies, completely overwhelmed by meeting
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Or what about this viral clip of a 28-year-old from Ohio?
They're just adults,
favorite
right?
Character Goofy for the first time. She's in floods of tears at the prospect of finally meeting a person in a costume. These are the Disney adults, and their behavior is exactly what you'd expect from young children. In fact, walk around
I wonder
Disney
who
Park today and you might expect
it's
excited
another
children
adult in
running
that
about
costume. That's
screaming
the
with
funny
excitement.
thing.
But instead, what you get is young and middle-aged adults wearing fancy
God.
dress, pretending that they're 10
These
years
people
old
are a
again.
bunch of
Only
soy
about
boys and
37%
Karens,
of
dude.
Disneyland visitors live in households with kids. The rest are just grown-ups without children, treating their love for Disney like a personality trait. Disney's obviously aware
They're a
of this
bunch of
and noticed
closeted
that this
gays.
was happening and pivoted
sounds-
hard. Now there's adult-only
God
after-hour
damn,
events
sorry.
where you can sip champagne while riding Space Mountain. There's an unprecedented 110 plus venues across the park serving alcohol, and an even upmarket food and wine festival. Because what Disney figured out, and it's kind of genius, is how to trigger nostalgic childhood feelings in our adult brains. They pump specially engineered scents onto Main Street, a vanilla and baked goods mixture that's been tested to trigger memory. The castle and other decor is painted in neutral pastel shades that create what researchers call warm nostalgia.
The warm
The employees go
nostalgia.
through this incredibly intensive training where they have to learn to never break character and to always maintain this continuous fantasy where the outside real world ceases to exist. The park really promises something powerful: simplicity, a clear division between good and evil, problems that resolve in minutes, a world where believing in magic
Simplicity.
might actually fix things.
A world,
where the news doesn't even
far
exist,
away.
where your biggest concern is which character breakfast to book and what ride to go on next.
The
As
greatest
time just
escape.
disappears into the background.
The
Disney is an
greatest
emotional
land of
support
all.
system for people who can recite the words
Disney
to The Little
World.
Mermaid or Frozen, but might actually struggle to make eye contact at dinner. And this is just a microcosm of something happening pretty much everywhere across society. Culture is becoming infantilized, and the concept of adulthood is dying. And we are witnessing the process of idiocracy happening in real time. Not long ago, adulthood was a
it
privilege,
hasn't
a
hit
mark
that
of
yet.
respect and something to be
But we're getting
embraced.
close.
And the fact that it's not anymore is having huge consequences for everyone. And to understand this, let's talk about the term adulting first. This suggests that growing up is some kind of temporary performance rather than just what you are. People are starting to post about successfully scheduling dentist appointments like they've conquered something monumental. Paying bills becomes content worth posting to your story. Rachel Weinstein was a therapist in Portland, Maine, and she kept noticing something interesting. Clients in their 20s and 30s would mention almost apologetically things they'd never learned. How to sew a button, how to cook an egg, how to discuss difficult topics. These were people with
Wait,
degrees
what?
and
I'm
careers.
sorry, the most
So in
basic.
2016,
Well, the
she
sewing
started
stuff
the
is kind of
adulting
like,
school. People
whatever.
signed up in their masses to learn how to make friends, cook, and
But,
carry out
like,
basic
cooking?
home
Come on.
DIY. The
Can't
concept
even
spread
cook
to
some eggs?
universities.
Can you
Berkeley
even
began
make a bowl
offering
of
90-minute
cereal?
weekly sessions on cooking and budgeting, while Michigan State and others created their
Maybe
own
that's a little
adulting
too
workshops.
fucked.
The funny thing is, Gen Z and millennials aren't
You
stupid.
mean?
In fact, they're the most highly educated and qualified generations in human history, and seemingly contribute more to the economy than any other. But for the first time in history, there's a massive gaping lack of practical life skills and common sense, the kind that people used to learn through osmosis. The death of adulthood isn't just reflected in everyday behavior, it's reflected in how our language has evolved too. Think
Oh
of
well,
the
I mean
word
the
trigger. It used to
shitification of
describe someone's
right of our
response to
language. I
PTSD,
mean that's been
but
going
now
on
it's
for a
deployed
bunch of
whenever someone
languages, right?
encounters mild
But why do you think
discomfort.
people
Then
make
there's
slang
self-care,
terms,
which
right? That's
actually
the
started as a
shitification
radical
of
concept from
language.
Black and
Making
Latin
slang
feminist
terms.
writers talking about survival in oppressive systems.
Why do you
And this
think
somehow
people
morphed
make
into
those
buying bath
brain
bombs and
dead
skipping work
boomer
emails.
Gen Z to
Everything
write
is
those
self-care if you
fucking
squint hard enough. Watching reality TV is
glazing
self-care. Ordering
and shit like
takeout is
right?
self-care. Ghosting your friend's
Those people
birthday
that make
party
those
is
terms are
self-care
fucking
because
children.
crowds are just too much right now. And what about
Fucking
bed rotting? Spending entire days in bed.
Those
scrolling through
people
TikTok,
in
ordering DoorDash,
right, and
binge-watching
shitify
Netflix, sometimes
the
for 12,
language
14, 16 hours straight.
by doing shit
Even
like
all
that.
of this has been rebranded as self-care. Staying in bed all weekend is just
Right,
protecting
TikTok,
your
social
energy.
media,
What
right?
used to
They
be
shit on.
concerning behavior is now
Right.
a wellness trend with
It
millions
makes
of views
people
on social
stupid,
media.
literally.
And then there's the word toxic, which became the universal descriptor for anything uncomfortable. Toxic workplaces, toxic friends, toxic boyfriends, toxic girlfriends, toxic family dynamics. The word
you're the world is so much
When you watch clips from
toxicity.
TV, you realize that people were much more philosophical and articulate in their speech. They never
Look
resorted
at
to
all.
buzzwords to describe complex ideas and emotion. Check out this 1966 BBC video of children discussing their predictions for the year 2000. and how articulate and smart they come across, and how eerily accurate their predictions actually are. One kid says the world will be overpopulated and risks nuclear war.
Well, I think that it'll be so overpopulated that there'll all be wars, all nuclear explosions and everything.
There would be
speaks about
wars. There would be
automation and
nuclear
people being out of work.
explosions.
There's going to be all this automation. People are going to be out of work and a great population.
Build this
I think something has to be
automation.
done.
Well, I mean,
Perhaps
obviously.
most haunting of all,
Look,
one
any
says
tech
people
person
be
will tell
treated
you
as
yes.
statistics more than as actual people.
Right, automation's
It'll
gonna
be,
fuck shit up
people
in
will
a
be
sense.
regarded more as statistics and as
Because people
actual
are
people.
gonna,
As we
right,
can see from this
people
clip,
fear
people
the
looked
unknown
radically different
as of
back
right
then
now.
too.
Because
Remember
as of
this
right
viral
now,
image
there
of Sean
there's
Connery
already
in
some stuff that
1964? He
it's
looks like
already
he could sit in
automated.
board meetings and negotiate international treaties.
Right, and that's
Thomas
gonna
Brodie
encroach on
Sangster in
more
2024
businesses and
looks like he needs
jobs.
permission
People
to
are
stay
gonna
out
get
past his
upset.
bedtime. Generations of adult kids or kiddos are now simulating whole new economies that are flipping business models on their head. Lego is a company that has always been quick to catch on to new trends, and they introduced their Adults Welcome branding in 2020, with their revenue increasing to $10 billion within a few years. You can now buy Lego sets that cost a whole monthly paycheck. Think of Hello Kitty. This character is literally 50 years old. She's
Well, I
been
mean, we
around
got
since
Labubu's
1974,
now too, right?
but somehow the creators
Or
managed
we
to
got
reinvent her for a completely
trading
new generation
cards,
of
right? All
adults.
the
Then
trading
there's the
cards
whole
and shit
blind
like
box
that.
craze that's
I hate to
absolutely
say it, but
exploded.
the
It's
right
now
stuff
worth
like that
billions for
really
practically nothing.
fucks people, right?
Hotmart, the
Because they
Chinese
spend
company
all their
behind
money
many
on that
blind box brands
bullshit.
and characters,
I mean, yeah, you
basically
can.
created an
I
empire
mean,
around
yeah,
not
it's
knowing
an
what toy you're
asset that
buying.
you
It's a
can,
cute, friendly form
right,
of gambling.
sell to people,
These
and
companies have
it
become
has
brilliant at
value in
reading
a
the room.
sense.
They figured out that
But
adults
it's like
desperately
it's-
want to feel something,
it's
and apparently
paper.
what we want is to feel like 8 years old again.
It's fucking paper.
And yet
man.
this is a subject that's hard to find accurately reported information about, because the media always spins this into a political
Even
narrative,
painings,
which is why
right?
you should check out
Just take a look at
ground.news/moon,
paintings.
as Ground News gathers stories from over 50,000 sources from
Right,
around the world every day.
right, the
For
asset
example,
dump
let's
and
check out
paint,
this
right,
story about
very
how studies
expensive
show decline
painting,
in
right,
human
high-end
intelligence,
paintings.
where researchers from the University
That's
of Texas
that's
concluded that the
right,
moon
eyes in
using
the
smartphones
beholder, right?
reduces our available cognitive capacity. With Ground News, we can see the stories being covered by 27
that was made up
total
by a
news
committee of
sources, 4
people,
left-leaning, 3 right-leaning,
right,
and
who
4
said
in the
yes,
center,
or
with a biased
that's
distribution of
people giving it
36%
value,
left,
right?
36% center, and 27%
That's what you get.
right.
Get people
We
who
can
give
then
it too
compare
much
all the
value, and then
headlines to
that's
do a
it. It
biased
crashes.
comparison of all these stories, where we can see some left-wing sources use this information to explain internet trolls' views on gay people, and we can also see how the right claims this might be coming from a digital media
People are
revolution.
getting
You can then
dumber.
even click each source and actually compare the
Anyways.
headlines yourself.
Buying demographic on the
That's
basis
ground
this
news
month.
for you.
It's soon to get
If you want to take a look at that.
Kidults officially overtook preschoolers as the biggest toy buying demographic on the planet.
Oh, yeah, I
and of course,
bet.
look, there's nothing dramatically wrong with
Yeah,
adults buying
adults
the old
want
nostalgic toy or
adults want
enjoying
their
things from their
nostalgia
childhood.
back
As a
so
one-off, these things are
fucking
great,
much
but
for
when
some reason.
entire corporations are pivoting
Right,
their
they
business
want to
models because
relive
grown-ups
their
become
kid
primary
days, but it's like,
customers, that tells
get
us
the
something
fuck out
bigger
of
is
here,
going
you
on
fucking
here. And in
weirdo.
some cases, this obsession with toys and childish interest has become downright disturbing. The TikTok
Time
account
to
for Teletubbies
hang
showed
it
that
up,
toddlers
fucking
started making
old
content
person.
for adults, participating in TikTok trends with suggestive imagery and
Hang
music.
it up.
Oh, and an underwear brand even launched a Teletubbies range. Like that's not weird
You're
at
getting
all.
old. You
Some of
gotta
this is
hang it
part of
up.
the
You're
age
wasting
regression
fucking money.
community
You're
that has
burning
multiplied
daylight
lately,
on it.
with adults buying
What a
cribs, sippy
loser.
cups, and dummies marketed as stress relief and sensory aids. What started as legitimate therapeutic
Wasting your time
techniques has
on
morphed into
nerds.
something much stranger. With
I was
entire
about to say a
marketplaces
slur of
selling
shit.
adult baby products. And they say art imitates life. And if you really want to see how dramatically our artistic culture is being infantilized, just look at movies. They perfectly illustrate how the West is progressing from the intellectual, the complex, the experimental, and the philosophical to something engineered for immediate gratification and
Yeah, I
mass
mean,
consumption with absolutely no
I mean,
depth
look,
or meaning.
I hate to
Let's
say,
take
yeah,
Stanley
even
Kubrick's
movies. Right.
2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968. The film opens with a very long scene of apes discovering tools. There's zero dialogue, no explanation, just classical music and slow immersive visuals. You have to sit there for a while.
Everybody
think
wants to
and process the
infantilize
scene. The
everything
whole movie
because they don't
asks
wanna
massive
fucking-
questions about consciousness.
They don't
and
wanna
humanity's
lose it.
future, all while giving you absolutely
Everyone's
nothing in
scared
terms
of
clear
death.
answers. And
All
people back
things
then
must
loved
come
this.
to an
They would
end,
pack out cinemas
yes?
to watch this stuff. 30 minutes of one long continuous scene. This wasn't just some niche art film. In fact, it's one of the most successful films of all time. Audiences saw it multiple times trying to understand it. People have written essays about it and had lengthy arguments about what the ending meant. It's the inspiration for people like Christopher Nolan, and the confusion of the movie was part of the appeal, as the meaning of the film was subjective based on the viewer. And so let's fast forward
Well,
to
yeah.
now. and things just couldn't be any more different.
I
Film
mean,
producers like
yeah.
those behind Disney
look, you
and the
make a
Marvel
bunch of
universe have figured out
this
the
is the
formula where
entertainment
every
industry,
single moment
right?
is engineered
Obviously,
for
it's
immediate
gonna
gratification, with
hit with
entire
people
teams
differently,
A/B testing
right?
on how to trigger your dopamine response to CGI effects. Everything is
Yeah,
choreographed for
right. I
maximum
mean,
dopamine,
you're seeing a
with
lot of
emotional
CGI
scenes that
stuff
last just
nowadays.
long
It's
enough
like,
to
what the
register
fuck
before getting
happened?
undercut with jokes, constant visual spectacle, characters explaining the plot to each other in case anyone got confused. It's why Martin Scorsese has been such an outspoken critic of these films, as so many of them are just essentially the same story. Good guys fight bad guys, universe
Correct.
saved, roll credits, with major stars,
right, none of
CGI,
the
and billions
you
invested
don't
for psychological manipulation.
I hate to say
to
it, but
keep
none
you
of the
watching.
none of
And any films
the
that dare to be obscure are rarely even commercials.
like none of the like a lot of the Marvel movies right now, I feel like they're in like I think they've lived out their purpose, right? They've done all the right good guy, bad guy stuff. They don't put like the right for at least Star Wars, they don't show you the side of like the old Republic, right? Or the right the old Sith lords and like right the ancients. Man, they don't show any of that shit. I mean, I guess with even when they tried to do it with Marvel, they kind of like it was kind of like the scale of it was kind of weird too.
Obscure are rarely even commercial successes anymore.
Because
If
right,
you
they're
look at the
going
top
against
films in the
gods
1990s
and
the
shit,
early 2000s,
and like
especially
interdimensional
compared to today,
fucking
and you'll just notice
gods
this
and
massive gap
other
in depth and
like
meaning. Instead
beings
of
and
films like
fucking
American Beauty
whatnot.
being at the top
Like,
of the
what the
box
fuck is
office,
happening?
we just now get recycled Marvel and Star Wars films. The Avenger movies particularly are the pinnacle of this new formulaic film industry. They're 3-hour dopamine delivery systems. And
Yeah,
kind of
they're all
genius,
3
'cause every
hours
30
now.
seconds something is
When
designed to make you
before,
feel
right,
without
you would get
asking you to
like
think.
an
There's
hour,
a fake
30-minute
quip here
movie,
with some major
right?
A-list star.
Now they're
Then
like
there'll be
2
a huge
hours, 3
explosion
hours
over
now. It's
there,
like, what the
fan
fuck is
service
happening?
moments, and just loud, continuous spectacle on repeat for 3 hours.
Yeah,
Star Wars has also
correct.
gone on a similar direction under Disney, and it's probably even worse. Yet all of these films seem to be incredibly effective at what they do. It's why they're the only films that get hundreds of millions of funding anymore. But they're also exhausting in this weird way. You just leave feeling overstimulated but empty, like you've been in a
Well, I
casino
mean, there's
all day. And
right,
this
there's a lot
transformation
of
from 2001 to Avengers
right, and some of
captures
these
what
movies,
happened to
right,
the
since they're
arts.
so
We
long,
went
there's
from
obviously
wanting
some like
experiences that expanded our minds to
right,
needing
some
entertainment that shuts
plot
them off,
devices
from
to
quiet
move the
reflection and
story
patience
along.
to panic if nothing happens for 30 seconds, where people need to continually check their phone for the next dopamine hit if the film doesn't have another explosion in. Something deep has changed in how we process reward and satisfaction. Our dopamine receptors have been hijacked, and we've spoken about this on this channel for years now. But it's just so scary how much this
TikTok.
really has changed. As our
Getting
dopamine systems
overstimulated
no
by
longer work the way
OnlyFans
they're
models.
supposed to.
Oops.
When our ancestors heard a rustle in the grass or spotted movement in the trees, dopamine sharpened their focus and prepared their bodies to respond. It was the brain's way of saying, this matters, pay attention. The chemical helped them remember where they found
Yeah.
food, which paths led to water, and what sounds meant danger. For almost all of human history, those dopamine hits came from real events with real consequences, and genuine accomplishments triggered genuine rewards. You couldn't just manufacture endless novelty. Sure, prehistoric humans found ways to amuse themselves between hunting and sleeping, but nothing like scrolling through brain rot clips all day,
Correct.
getting
Well, I
free from
mean,
Uber Eats
right-
with 100+ chemicals.
I mean, just scrolling through your phone and like looking through like stuff like that, right? I mean, it doesn't promote that much of like doesn't promote good brain activity.
lashed into it, all while seeing more beautiful women in an hour that a
I
king
mean,
a
it
few hundred
depends
years ago would
on
see in a
how you're
lifetime.
fucking
And so now
right
we're essentially running
taking
Stone
in
Age software
information.
in a digital world. And companies like Disney have made
Are
billions
you
from
are you
hijacking this,
learning,
'cause
or
they
are
were
you
one of the
just
first to
stagnant
recognize
and
this
not really
vulnerability in
fucking
human
learning, right?
psychology. But it's easy to understand how this can
You're
be
just
hijacked for
brain rot,
content. But how
fucking
is
just
this spread
mind
to
numb, not
everything?
thinking about
Well,
anything.
there's one
just
theory about why
scrolling.
companies benefit so much from the death of adulthood, and that comes from the French philosopher Bernard Stiegler. He argued that consumer capitalism isn't as effective with fully formed adults. And think about it, mature adults can wait, think critically, delay gratification. They fix broken items instead of buying
Well, I
new
mean, it's
ones.
because humans
Children,
can
on
get
the other hand,
well,
are
I
kind
mean,
of
take
perfect
gambling for
consumers,
instance,
especially when they
right?
have adult money. as they live entirely
They
in the present
gotta get
moment.
that
They want
next
things
hit because
immediately.
they're chasing those wins and losses.
Bright colors and loud noises. This is why there's so much money to be made from advertising to kids. All the kid content on YouTube rakes in so much more money than regular content. And Bernard saw this as society creating people who are perpetually incomplete, not broken exactly, but insecure, restless, and always needing the next thing. In other words, kidults are the perfect customer base. And companies have been actively exploiting this with what they neatly call persuasive design. They study the science of addiction
it's like
persuasion.
right, they're using the Pavlovian response, right? They're trying to give you that next hit. They're trying to keep you on that fucking hook, man.
And applied to games and social media apps to get people hooked. Shockingly,
also, that's what happens when you
children with these
gamble for like, or well, not
psychologists
really
and
gamble,
children's
but
advocates
when you buy
recently
card
called out the tech
packets and
industry
then
for
you
using
get that cool
psychological
card you want
manipulation
or some shit,
tactics on
right? It's
kids.
that
They know
dopamine
that
hit that
teenagers'
people want.
brains are still developing.
It's that
making them
satisfaction,
especially
that
vulnerable to
short-term
this type of
satisfaction that
stimulation
people
and
want so
ultimately
much.
addiction. There's been national inquiries
That's
into
what
this
those
in countries like
right?
the
That's
UK,
what
but nothing truly
that's
happens.
literally
And
what the
yet death of
Pavlovian
adulthood
response is in a
huge
sense.
benefit for companies and a
It's
huge
short-term,
cost to our health
right?
and well-being. Every time we choose
Feel
the
good
easier,
satisfaction
faster, more
responses.
stimulating option, we're training our brains to expect
And then you
instant
train yourself to
gratification.
always
The
want
brain
that.
is like
It's
a
like,
muscle. If
eesh,
you don't
that's
use it
rough.
properly, it weakens. That's a big reason why our attention spans are collapsing. People often say humans now have shorter attention spans than goldfish. Now this isn't actually true, but the myth persists because it feels true. When you can't sit through a movie without checking your phone constantly, when you have to skip songs after 5 seconds, when you need food to be rammed with additive chemicals, sugars and fats, of course then it makes it seem like our attention spans are shrinking.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, when you get obese, right? When you have medical conditions too, that also gets you all fucked up and depressed too, or shit. Right? I mean, look, humans have to take on a lot of shit, obviously. I mean, we're supposed to be resilient, but at the same time, people fall into, right, some mistakes that they shouldn't be falling into, but they do.
What really is measurable is how our media has contracted. The average shot length in movies has plummeted from about 12
humans are
seconds
supposed
in
to be smart
1930 to
creatures,
around
but
2.5
sometimes,
seconds
man,
today.
it
Modern
doesn't
films
seem like
cut
that
so
sometimes,
frequently
right?
that modern movies now contain over 1,100
Yikes.
shots compared to a few hundred in older films. And if you
I mean,
think this was just
right, you
because
see
it was
those
harder to
people
film
get
more shots
go
back then,
close to
let's go
like
look at
fucking
music,
huge
where we
ass
see a
animals
similar
with the
pattern.
horns
Song
and
intros
shit.
have shrunk from 20
It's like,
seconds
oh
in the
yeah, you probably
1980s
don't
to
want to
just
do
5
that.
seconds
Some of those
today.
animals
Between
will gore the
2013 and
fuck out of you.
2018
Oh,
alone,
and you
the
get
average
gored. Oh,
Billboard
well.
Hot 100 song got 20
Shouldn't have gotten
seconds
close to
shorter.
that.
The strange thing
Fucking
is how all of this happened gradually
bull
and then
or
just
some
suddenly.
shit, right?
Each change seemed reasonable on its own. Why shouldn't a movie have more dynamic editing? Why shouldn't a song get to the point faster? It's reasonable until it's not. But there's an elephant in the room that we just haven't yet discussed, and that's the actual economics of trying to be an adult right now in the West. In 1970,
how about those people that love fucking the celebrities who eat celebrity shit all the time and just can't get enough of it. Yeah, those people are fucked in the head.
For a first birth was about 20 years old, and couples could realistically plan their lives. Back in 1960, the median home cost $11,900, while the median income was $5,600, which meant basically a house cost about 2 years of income. Today, of course, the median home price has climbed to 5.6 times the median household income. And in places like California, you'd need an annual income of $237,000 just to qualify for a mortgage on a mid-tier home. The number of under 35s still living with their parents has rocketed because many simply can't afford to move out. Living with parents is naturally going to make you feel like less of an adult. So,
also that average
infantilization
medium number, yeah, that number,
economic
it's not
adaptation,
95.
but
Right, you said 95. Right, it says 96,000 2020. No, it's not 96. Oh, dude. Oh, 2 times. Oh, okay, that's what they mean. Okay.
In places like California, you'd need an annual income of $237,000 just to qualify for a mortgage on a mid-tier home. The number of under 35s still living with their parents has rocketed because
so basically you would
can't
need
afford to
two
move
people,
out.
like,
Living with
right, you
parents
would
is
have to
naturally
have,
going to make
right,
you feel like less of an adult.
basically a
So,
relationship
cultural
or
infantilization
marriage
is
of
to
some
some
sort.
extent a form of psychological and economic adaptation, but one that's
Or
becoming
dual
self-destructive,
income,
and we've completely lost
basically.
control of it. Studies now show that younger generations are burning out at 25. Previous generations weren't hitting peak stress until much later in life, when they had mortgages and kids to worry about. The concept of burnout wasn't even widely used until recently. It originated in 1974 from psychotherapist Herbert Freudenberger, who used this to describe heavy narcotics use. Today, the signs of burnout are written all over people's faces. Some call it the Generation Z stare, that blank, thousand-yard expression that was once
you should talk
associated
about the
with
quiet
dissociation
quitting.
due to acute stress and
Yeah,
traumatic
remember that
events.
shit.
It was even first documented in World War I and World War II soldiers who'd seen too many horrific things in combat. And you know where else you'll see
Shell
this stare?
shock.
Casinos, which also
Or
feast
now
upon
known
our
as
dopamine.
PTSD.
Walk through any casino floor and you'll see rows of people with that same vacant expression. Blank faces crowding around roulette tables.
Yeah,
People sitting
gambling.
alone at slot machines. Windows blacking
So
out
he
the
is talking
entire
about
place.
gambling, see?
The whole infrastructure meant
See,
to
Moon
block
knows
out
his
any
stuff.
sense of
Moon
time,
knows his
where
stuff, he
everyone looks
knows.
washed out and tired, but is unable to leave.
This
Obviously
is a good
drifting
video.
in and out of reality. That's what the effects of overstimulation looks like. So here it is. We've learned how to stimulate the brain artificially. We manufacture that stimulus at a societal level. We feed it to ourselves all the time, and
Yeah.
we've gotten ourselves completely hooked on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
where are we heading from there? Well, have you seen the movie Idiocracy? We mention it regularly on the channel and even made a whole video on the topic. It came out in 2006 by Mike Judge, and everyone thought this movie was just a simple comedy about how stupid people might become in the future.
well,
Now it
I
feels
mean-
less like a satire and more like a real documentary
I mean,
film
yeah,
in the films.
kinda, a
The movie
bit,
shows
but
a
at
world
the
where
same time, it's
corporations have
true.
completely taken over.
I mean,
Everyone's
look,
addicted
some
to
of these
junk food
movies
and
hit the
mindless
nail on the head,
entertainment, and people
right?
have basically forgotten how to think for themselves. The most
About how,
popular TV
right, how
shows
you
called
see
How Mine
how
Rules,
society is
literally
viewed
just a
at.
guy getting hit in the groin repeatedly. That's what passes for entertainment, and it probably would today too. The film was so accurate in its corporate satire that Fox Studios barely even promoted it, and only released it in 7 cities, as they were terrified of offending their advertisers, who were scared of waking people up to the reality of how dumb we're getting.
Correct.
Idiocracy isn't the only movie that saw this coming. Funnily enough, WALL-E came out in 2008 and showed humans who had become so dependent on technology that they literally couldn't
Right,
even walk
everybody
anymore,
acting like
needing a
Beavis and
constant
Butthead.
screen and food at all times. They float around in chairs, staring
Oh
at
yeah,
screens,
WALL-E,
consuming
yeah.
mindless
Yeah,
entertainment
WALL-E
while
was,
robots
yeah,
do
WALL-E,
everything for
dude,
them.
WALL-E
And it's
knew.
honestly one of the most eerie
WALL-E was
predictions
such a
I've
good
ever
movie.
seen in a movie. And then there's Black Mirror, which doesn't even pretend to be set in the distant future. Most episodes are set in the near future dystopia that feels uncomfortably close to our present
Oh,
reality.
yeah.
Social credit scores, virtual reality addiction, people rating each other on apps like T.
I
Half
mean,
of
oh,
these things already exist.
Yeah, remember
What
that
all these
that
stories have
one
in common
was
is they
it
don't show
that
some
Japanese
innovation
guy who
leading
was
through
posing as
apocalypse.
a
They show us defeating
as a
ourselves,
female
rewiring
and would
our
put out
psychology,
a
and
ad
preying on our dopamine to completely make us
on
numb and
like
apathetic,
social media
all through
outlets, and they
convenience, through comfort,
that
through the
person would
gradual
have like
surrender of
guys come
everything that
over
makes
and
us
bring
human.
over like
It's
a
why we'll
gift.
never see another movie
Right,
like
and
2001
shit, and
Space
hang out and
Odyssey
talk.
ever again. There will
Right,
no
that
longer
shit-
be
oh my
Renaissance
goodness.
art, and it's gonna lead us to one of the most boring
A
apocalypses
lot of
imaginable.
a lot of
A
women's
slow
a
death
lot
by
of
1,000 tiny
husbands and wives
conveniences.
were
Each one makes life just a
were
little
broken
bit
up
easier
because of
until we
that
become
person.
soft, helpless, unable to do anything for ourselves.
Uh.
And maybe then AI will just take over.
Well, yeah, yeah. Hey, look, the tech industry is very scary, right? The tech overlords, man. The tech overlords. You gotta be careful.
I've been dying to ride Dragon Racers Rally at Universal's
What's this
Epic
about?
Universe, but
So
you weren't
we
sure-
so we got Sydney Sweeney. Oh, right, Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Watson. Sorry. With
if you'd bet.
Disney
I like I
adults,
asked this
but the
question in
obese side
most
of it.
videos,
Right?
but what am I watching here?
So, right, Moon took the general approach.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual,
And
before
I'm
we
guessing
launch in,
Sydney
today's video is sponsored
Watson is
by
going to take the
Cookie.
more,
So I have been on the internet for a very, very, very
Uh,
long time, and the longer
guess
that
direct
I'm here, the
approach
more that I
onto it.
see things that both alarm and confuse me. And the subject
or a
of
more
today's
specific
video is no
approach.
exception. I've had my head in a lot of obesity-based topics over the last little while, just because, like, when you find one story, it leads you down the rabbit hole. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Expect some more obesity on this channel in the coming weeks. Not from me though. I go to the gym where I sit in the corner and then cry about my 5-kilo weights. Now, recently, I learned that there is a group
Why are you
of
working
women
out
called
with
the
5-kilo weights?
plus-sized park hoppers.
You should
Some
be
of you may
doing
or may
push-ups,
not have heard
woman.
about them already because they've been around
Why are
for
you
a while.
lazy?
This is a group of
Stop
5
being lazy.
women from Massachusetts here in the U.S. who range in clothing
You gotta do them
sizes
girl
from
push-ups, too.
2XL to 5XL. Their words, guys, not mine.
Hey everyone, we're plus size park hoppers, and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus size.
No, I
Disney
don't
tips
want
and
to.
tricks.
These ladies
No, thank
go
you.
to
I don't
Disney
want to
theme
follow
parks
your
every
video.
other month to
Jesus.
report on what is and isn't accessible to them. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every other month. Yeah, I am not kidding. The whole thing here is going to theme parks and resorts and then reporting back about not being able to fit into chairs. When I tell you, I am tired. These women tell you if you can fit onto specific rides, like if you can get the little bar thing to sit across your belly.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, if you
These
can't...
seats are molded with a divider
Right,
that
basically,
goes
if you
between your
cannot
legs. The
have
safety
it
mechanism
seat
is
on
an
you
over-the-shoulder
all the
chest
way,
restraint that
like
does
if
need
it
to get
cannot,
to a certain
like
position
if
to
you
lock.
cannot
Ashley
hear
wears a
the
size
click
5X
and it doesn't
unfortunately
click,
was not able to get the green
you
light
cannot
for this ride.
ride
Which
the
types
you
of
cannot ride the
obesity scooters
ride.
to use, and if you can get them.
Disney World vacations can require a lot of walking, which can be painful
Well,
and
yeah.
might put a
Oh
damper
my
on your
God.
vacation.
Oh
For
my God,
longer
this
trips,
one,
one of
yeah.
us always rents a scooter, and she prefers to rent through Gold Mobility.
Which is
Oh,
the
man,
best
fat people
anti-chafing
sometimes,
leg rub
man.
to use. I just learned this is a thing.
So we really like this doctor.
The funny thing is, they allow themselves to get that bad, and then they spend so much money
I've
to
never had this
enable
problem,
themselves to
thankfully,
get even
but it's good to know the
worse.
brand to use in case I
It's
ever
like,
do.
what the
Thank you.
fuck?
They reference where you can park your car if you want to avoid walking. They explain what this red rash on your leg might be and say that
Yes.
it's from exercise, but in reality, it's called vasculitis, and it would probably go away if you lost some weight, and much, much more. So obviously, if you have been around this channel for any length of time, you will know that I am not a fan of how people have
Basically,
gotten fatter and fatter
vasculitis
as the
happens
years have
when
gone
you're
on.
too
And with
fat,
this
and
issue
all the
specifically with these
all the
people
pressure
specifically,
goes to
I
your
don't want to
ankle.
make fun of them just because
Right, and then
they're
that
fat people
causes
on
a
the
bunch of
internet doing
stress
their
in your
thing and having
ankles.
fun. But I do want
Right,
to
because
talk
you're so
about them
top
because,
heavy, and
like,
then that
for one,
really
Disney
fucks up
adults
your
are just
legs.
incredibly
Right?
bizarre
That's
to
why you
me,
see them
all on
getting
their own.
rashes,
Going to
or
Disney this regularly
because
and
they're
making your
putting
entire
so much
personality
stress
a company
and
that
tension
has
on
been
that area.
historically enjoyed by children is something I don't quite understand. I'm prepared to admit that I am a Disney tourist. I like to watch the cartoons sometimes and watch them to comment on this channel about how bad the remakes are. But going to Disneyland or Disney World 1,000 times a year? Really? I don't know, man. That just feels like a really expensive way of saying I'm not in a relationship. But secondarily, and honestly, probably more importantly, I'm troubled by the
I don't know what's the point.
effort to
I mean,
normalize
obviously,
being
this is to
this
make them
huge
feel
in
good
life and
about
giving
themselves,
people
right?
tips and tricks to exist like
Because
this.
why else would you
Not
do
to
this?
mention, essentially demanding Disney make efforts to accommodate your obesity, going to a place where you know you can't fit onto any of the rides, or very
Correct.
few of the rides,
Right,
and it's
I
actually
mean,
probably unsafe if you do so, while also eating insane amounts of food and insanely overpriced
Right.
food.
Yeah, it makes
and
no
somehow trying
sense.
to act like all of this is normal. It really, really isn't.
Right, no
in case that
Disney,
wasn't
no
obvious.
Disney.
Editor Sydney from the future here, because I forgot to say
Right,
this
because
when I was
to make
recording, but
these
it probably
machines
seems like
and
a
rides and
random,
shit,
ironic
they would
coincidence
need
that
to
Cook Unity is
repurpose
the
the
sponsor
whole
for this
fucking.
video,
They would need
but I
to
actually did
remake
it
the whole
deliberately,
fucking
because
thing.
as long as we're talking
Because
about
they made it
not so
specifically
great
for
choices,
people who
I
are
want to tell
not
you
that
about an
fat.
actual good one. Look, I'm gonna level with you all. Your girl has tried basically
There's
every
a
meal
weight
service
load
under
to
the sun
things,
because
man.
I'm not that
Especially
great at
with these
cooking. So while I
machinery.
respect cooking, sometimes you just don't have the time, sometimes you don't have the energy, and sometimes you just want something healthy that's easy.
I don't want
So
you to
when
get
Cook
fucking
Unity reached
stuck
out,
up in
I
the
was
air
like,
or fucking
okay,
break the
show me what
machine
you
and have
got.
the whole machine
Immediately, I
come
was really
tumbling
impressed
down
with their
because you're so
delivery, which
fat.
probably seems really little, but to me makes a
Sorry.
big difference because I have had food like this delivered that has arrived in boxes that have been
So
destroyed
this
and
is
leaking. The food is
her,
no good. But in this case,
well,
they
it
use
looks like she gets
sustainable bags,
pre-packaged
which are
food.
so cute. And the food actually arrived cold and completely intact. And it's not just a once-off because I've had multiple deliveries now. Cook Unity's meals are put together by pasta dish and these little fish tacos. He also made a Mediterranean salad that I really enjoyed. The difference here is that other companies give you frozen soggy mush. It's gross. But these meals taste great. They have great texture and they're actually real food.
Good
and
for you. I don't care
Sydney50
about
at
that.
Royals
Cook
Get 2 kinds of
Unity,
responses.
good for you.
Leave.com/Sydney50 for 50% off your first order.
Oops.
That's right. Cook Unity is offering you guys 50% off your first order when you use
You
code
can
Sydney50
go
at
help her out if you want.
cookunity.com/Sydney50.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna pass.
Now,
I just go
right
to a
out of the
grocery
gate,
store
these
myself.
fat Disney park enjoyers get two kinds of
I'm not that
responses
lazy.
predominantly.
I'm not like these
me,
people
and
who go
probably,
fucking super
actually, a lot
lazy.
of you who are alarmed and appalled that
I'm
we
sorry,
have even
that's-
gotten to
I'm
this place in
sorry.
society.
I'm making
These
fun
are the
of
people
content
who are
creators. I'm
extremely
sorry.
critical of these women and the content that they are making. And I think we vary quite a lot. You know, you have the people who are very mean-spirited in their feedback and criticism, and then you have other people who I think are really funny. I saw that a bodybuilder and former Disney employee called Marie Lopez, who also happens to be married to the host of the podcast Revenge of the Cis, she made
really?
some funny videos about this that I thought you guys would like to see.
Have you been dying to ride Expedition Everest at Disney World's Animal Kingdom, but you weren't sure if you'd fit? All of us sizes 2X through 5X are able to ride this ride. Those of us who wear sizes 2X through 4X find this ride to be very comfortable. We hope that this tips help you that you don't get snatched by the disco yeti. For entrees, Deanna, Katie, and I all got the filet mignon. Deanna got hers with a side of green beans. As you might know, she is on a quest to find the best green beans, but she said that these were just okay. I got mine with béarnaise sauce and a loaded baked potato. I really enjoyed the steak, and the béarnaise sauce was so good.
Marie got a salad.
For dessert, Katie got the creme brulee, which was gluten-free.
The juxtaposition is, it's something. Anyway, and probably
the
pretty
stark
obviously,
differences,
the other
man.
camp here are the yes
I got a salad.
types that love to say that this
While these
kind of
people are
thing is
eating
so
like the
great because
fucking
of how
heaviest,
inclusive it is.
right,
I
most
just say
densest
something
shit
about
possible.
The plus size park hoppers
Like very
really
rich
quickly?
and
How
right.
evil do you have to actually be to see one
Very
of their
rich
videos and
foods.
comment something just heinous, just something so mean and nasty? Like, these girls, not only are they loving life, sharing their joy and happiness, but they're also helping
Dude,
like
this guy's a
a
soy boy.
major population of
Get him
people
outta here.
who
His
might find it very embarrassing.
his
or
opinion is already
humiliating to
discarded.
Want to be able to go on a ride, and then the seat not be inclusive to their size.
And these women get so much hate on their videos that's completely undeserved, and some of it is just flat out cruel. You know, I see a lot of comments.
Well, I mean, you
kind
go
of bullying
to.
them for their weight. And,
I feel like you should know
the
by
comment
that
I
time.
see
It's
all the
like you
time
know,
is along
none
the
of
lines
these
like,
companies are
if you
going
can't
to
fit on a
accommodate
ride,
that shit
should be a wake-up call.
because there's
And that's
a
just wrong
right
to say,
there's
for a lot of
reality to
reasons.
everything.
I think I got more angry watching the Yes Queen
You
videos
can't have a
that
bunch of
were
fat
enabling
people
and
on one
justifying all of
ride
this than the
because it's gonna
actual plus-size
destroy the
park hoppers
ride and probably
themselves.
kill all those
So
fat
I'm not
people
sure what
too
that
at the same
says,
time.
But it says something.
gonna be
if
bad.
you go on Reddit or other forums, you will see people
You
complaining
know how
that they
cars
are
have
overweight
a have
and are
a
anxious
specific
about going
load
to
limit
Disney.
too?
So there are a lot
Yeah,
of
you don't
people
want to
who
get a
like and
bunch of
appreciate
fat
what the
people in one
plus-size
car.
park hoppers are trying to do. They are making theme parks feel
You don't
more
want
accessible
people
and
over
less
right. You don't want
anxiety-inducing,
like
I guess,
five
for obese people.
like
And on this
500
front, I can
pound
actually
fat people
understand this
into one
argument,
car, or else
because
that's gonna
being
fucking
fat
destroy the
isn't
car
fun,
literally.
And it sure as hell isn't fun when you are acutely aware of the fact that the world is not designed for people of
I don't
your
even know if you can
size.
fit five
like
fat
when you
people
are
in a car.
prisoner
Probably
in your
not.
own
You probably
skin.
can only
Well,
fit
let's
like
remember, human
4.
beings can absolutely get this big, but we are
maybe even
absolutely
3.
not
Probably
supposed
only
to be.
3
And
actually.
I think these women and other fat amusement park content people are 100% proof of that.
Look at
Personally,
that. There's
I
3
hate all
fat
of
people
this
right there,
because
and they're
I
all
do view
together.
it
See, you
as
can
an
only fit
attempt
3.
to normalize obesity rather than
I'm sorry.
instructing people
so
and
sorry.
helping people to navigate weight loss and making better choices. Let
Yeah,
me show you
Jesus,
what I
fucking
mean.
hell, man,
These
you're
women
gonna-
have made a bunch
Yeah,
of
and then
videos
they buy
explaining
these
how to get your
machineries
hands on
to
these
fucking
mobility
cart
scooters,
them. It's like,
due to the
Jesus,
fact
fuck.
that when you're fat,
How much
walking
money are
around
you
is
spending on
really
yourself
hard.
just because you're
Company research
fat?
when it comes to our theme parks
I wonder.
Gold mobility. Walking 5 to 10 miles a day can be overwhelming,
Dude,
especially if you're in a larger
dude,
body
you'd
or
have
with
to be
limited
spending
mobility.
like
If you're
extra
afraid
money
this will
because
put a damper
you
on
have
your
you
long-awaited
have
vacation,
health
there's
issues because you're
absolutely no
fat.
shame in renting an ECV.
But
I mean, look, you can get health
without
issues and
saying,
spend a lot of
these
money when you're
devices
fucking
were
skinny
not
too, but at the same
designed
time,
for fat people. Mobility
right, it's
scooters are for people
right,
who are
medical
actually
bills are
disabled,
fucking expensive,
or the
yes.
elderly, or pregnant,
or just
pregnant
buying all
women?
this
I don't
extra
know. I've never
shit.
thought about
I wonder
this.
if
Do you
these
guys
people
need
are gonna be
mobility
in debt
scooters?
or
I
fucking
have to imagine the babies are
bankrupt
heavy.
at some point.
I don't know. These things are not designed for people who have been overeating their entire lives and want
Correct.
an excuse not to walk. In several of their videos about these scooters, they even double up as an ad. Imagine being sponsored by a mobility scooter company because you're too fat to walk long distances. You guys know I am genuinely
and those mobility scooters are not supposed to be used by fat people either. They're supposed to be used for like the crippled old people. Just, like super crippled people or like old people, right? It's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you're a fat person. What the fuck are you doing? Get better. Why do you like this? Stop enabling your bad behavior.
I'm fine with that. But, you know, on like a serious note, I think that a gym membership is infinitely cheaper than a mobility scooter. And this goes for other things that they report on too, like food.
Because at that point you get healthy and then you wouldn't fucking need to pay for that fucking expensive piece of shit.
Buffets or other Disney restaurants or just
and by the
snacks that they
right,
got
and
on
by the
go.
time by the time you pay off that
mobility
expensive piece of
scooter and
shit,
all the food, I feel
you'd
like
already
being
spend like
really
a month or
overweight
two
is
in the
quite
gym,
an
and you'd
expensive
probably
exercise.
already lose
I'm
some
genuinely
weight.
not trying to be mean.
But no,
I'm
you
just
decide
saying,
not to
this is
because you
another
decide to
place where I
fucking be
think
on
it
your
would be
fat
worth
ass and
noting
keep
for their
eating
viewers
food.
how many calories they're
Oh, jeez.
consuming or how many calories this kind of food has. That eating like
Jesus
this is okay
Christ, dude! The
sometimes,
corn on the
a
cob with
holiday
all the
doing something a little
condiment.
bit naughty,
Yeah, no,
but it's not an
is that the
all-the-time
Chris?
thing.
No,
But
yeah,
rather than
dude.
acknowledging
Oh my
that
God.
and, you know, referencing that maybe there are better
Dude,
food
these people
options,
eat
they
like
just
fucking
eat
pigs,
and eat
man.
and eat and eat.
Like
And it sort of
fucking
feels
slobs.
reminiscent of this horrible overconsumption
Fucking
culture that
slobs,
we have cultivated
man.
as a result, particularly here in the United States, of huge portion sizes,
Yeah.
but also turning
Yeah,
eating
fucking
itself
slobs,
into some
man.
sort of like online
Jesus.
spectacle, so to speak. And if watching this type of thing makes you uncomfortable,
I mean, it's one
it
thing
should,
when you're
because eating this
doing a
much and being
mukbang
this
and
overweight
they're
is not
fucking
normal.
right.
I
They're
also think
they're
what
twigs.
made me
They're
extra
twigs of
angry
people,
about all of
right?
this was this
Or they're
TikTok
like or they're
dietitian's
like
response
food
to this
eating
content,
contestants,
where
right?
she basically
Like those
downplays
professional
how
food
terrible
eating
it is
contestants.
and
Like
says
those,
that
that's
Disney
different,
is
all
a
right.
once-in-a-lifetime thing, so
But when you're
eat
a
what you
fat
want.
when you're
Honestly, it looks like
visibly
a
a
bunch of
fat
people
person or
enjoying themselves at
obese
Disney
and you're
and
doing
trying
that,
all
that's
of the
so
fun foods
fucking
on
bad
offer.
for you,
Just
dude.
like
You're gonna have a
every
fucking heart
any
attack on
other
air.
Disney influencer or even just like Disney
Like, holy
goer
shit,
would
dude.
be doing. When I went to Epcot for the first time, my day of eating looked identical to that. And yet no one would give a Disney isn't everyday life. In fact, for many
Yeah.
families, it is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. So what you eat
I
at
mean,
Disney
yeah, I guess
isn't
you can
going
say
to
that.
be your everyday routine.
Wow, that's so crazy because this isn't the first time at all that they're trying this food. It's almost like they do this
Also, some of the
repeatedly,
food there
like
is
it's their
I
whole
mean,
shtick, and
I
they
hate
go
to say
to
it,
these
but
places
amusement
repeatedly.
park
I don't
food
usually
isn't
like
really that
insulting
great
people directly,
sometimes.
but this
It's like,
woman's an
eh.
idiot. Someone bring
Right,
her
it's
to
a
me
hit or
so I
miss
can
with
call her a
amusement
slur.
park
One of
food.
the other things I found out that I genuinely hate about this plus size
I mean, you're better off just finding something right
about
local, right,
innocuous
going to a
things
restaurant
that aren't
locally than
accommodating
inside
or
a park.
accessible to these people.
To be honest.
Like literal chairs.
The seating here consists of only tables and chairs without arms. In this episode of If I Fits, I Sits, we had dinner at Toledo. This Spanish-inspired restaurant is located in the Gran Destino Tower at Disney's Coronado Springs. The seating here consists of tables with chairs without arms.
These women started an entire series on TikTok called If It Fits, I Sits, and it basically documents whether or not they can fit into chairs. This goes
yes.
for transport
Whether
around
they
the
can
parks
fit
as well,
into
like
chairs,
the
yikes.
shuttles taking them to and from the parking lot.
The parking lot tram may not be the most exciting ride of the day, but it's definitely a useful one. Especially if you don't want to get all of your steps in before you even get to the park entrance.
Jesus.
What do you mean
Christ.
if you don't
What
want to
the
get
fuck?
steps in before you go
These
to
people
the
are
park?
fucking out of their minds.
Even testing out whether or not they fit in the ride seats themselves is a huge part of this kind of content. I found out through making this video that Disney has tester seats where people can go and sit in a fake seat to make sure that they'll fit in the real ones. And I am promising you now, these don't exist because of tall people or short people. They will be here almost exclusively, I am sure, for fat people.
Have you been
yeah,
dying
for the
to ride
fat,
test
literally.
track at Disney World's Epcot, but you weren't sure if you'd fit?
I know I can fit. I don't need a tester seat. So I sent
Yeah,
one
exactly.
of my friends one of the videos that I was using
Yeah, I'm
here
sure
because
I'm
I was alarmed.
yeah, I'm
after
looking
seeing
at
it,
myself.
and she
I
pointed
don't
out
think I need
the
one, to be
sign in the
honest.
background of one of the shots that says,
I'm
"Test
not a
this
fat
seat
person.
before riding.
I mean, you
The
could say I
seating
could
and
be
restraints on this
anorexic or
attraction
I
may
could
prohibit
fucking
some guests
bulimic or
of
something.
certain
Fucking
body shapes and sizes
right.
from riding." Did I not just tell you that this
Super skinny and
exists
shit, but no,
exclusively
I'm
for
not
fat
fat.
people? This is code for obese people can't fit, so no getting flung around in the air for you. Honestly, I'm glad that they have test seats because I think that it's actually a hazard for obese people to get on theme park rides.
It is.
But it's genuinely sad that this even needs to be
It
the
literally
case.
no, it literally is. You literally cannot have people overload the machine. It's you can't have that many fat people on the fucking machine. It's gonna destroy it.
This guy is trying so hard to push the little securing bar thing down. He's using his entire
Like when they
body.
created these,
right?
when they created these, right, rides and shit, they created it for people who are not of this stat, right, of this body type, literally. They created it for the right average American who's normally not fat or obese.
Because if you are this fat, I think this is unsafe. If you are trying to ride rides this fat, I think that is hazardous, not only to you, but also to the people around you. A woman on TikTok even told a convoluted story that was a little confusing about how she was put into a ride and fit in there. And she sort of describes how she has a stomach fat flap, and that is what the seat bar was pushed on top of. So when the ride was actually in motion, her stomach flap flipped up over the bar so that she had this big space between her and the bar that was supposed to be holding her in place, and she felt like she was not secured and she was going to fall out of the ride and die. This is not a description that I ever thought that I'd be giving, but here we are.
Like the fat that I have is like that. The pooch where it's just kind of like an overhang. Do you know what I mean? The underneath that, like I'm skinnier underneath my little pooch. Right?
What is this bitch talking?
Keep that in mind when you're thinking about this story, okay? Because
I think she's just trying to make some kind of fucking.
That, like, the little loop,
she's trying to rationalize it, but it's
really fast.
No.
And then
You're just
here
obese,
on this
bitch.
loop right here, and then you go down. When we started to go down, I was not tight enough. Okay, that fat that she pushed down on there, my fupa, right? It came loose because I literally sat up in the seat, like my butt was up in the air. That fat went over that bar. So now at this point, there is like a gap from like this much gap from me and the device that's supposed to be holding me in.
And second, and I really mean it when I say that I'm not trying to be mean here.
I don't know if that's
correct. If you are going to take the time to go to a theme park,
because
if you're flying in or you're driving in or whatever.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they would have kicked you out. Why would they take that chance? Right? They would already kick you out before you fucking went into that ride.
Memories with your family. Why would you do all of that?
Like if they see you not lock in, right? If they can't lock you in, that's it. You gotta go. You can't ride that ride,
rather
Joe.
than you bettering yourself so that you can have a better time. It genuinely makes me so angry because it screams entitlement, and
that story. I'm pretty sure she just made up that fucking story.
Spending the time
Let's be
and
honest.
to go to a theme park knowing full well
She's just trying to make shit up when she knows she can't fucking ride those rides.
And informing other people of this struggle like it's somehow everyone else's fault.
Correct.
Interestingly,
I mean, they blame the world but themselves.
And
literally.
To not fitting in seats, someone asked him why
can't
this
make it
is
up.
a wake-up call. He replied that each time he
I was
fails
about
to
to say
fit, he
literally
promises himself
three
that he'll lose
times.
weight, but the
Fucking hell.
quote-unquote motivation
I said it there a
will
third
outlast
time.
his
Fuck.
hunger. I hate it here. Which honestly makes me just want to throw hands. Because, dude, what do you mean? I think the bottom line here is that there is a huge, pun not intended, but welcomed, accountability issue with topics like this because, again, people would rather find tips and tricks to exist in this state
Correct.
of obesity
They'd rather play the
than
victim than
making
actually
time,
fix
effort,
themselves.
and putting energy
Like,
into
Jesus.
losing weight. Also,
Why
as
are
a
you
total
like this?
aside, I can't even imagine
Why
getting
can't
a
you
job at
just be a
Disney and expecting
normal,
that you're going to be
like,
dealing with all
civil
these cute little
human
kids
being
and then
and not be a
seeing
fucking
this
shitty
parade
asshole?
of obese Disney adults and just being like, to be clear, if
It's
you
like
are
you
overweight
want
and you are
people to
trying
make
lose
like a
weight, I think
fat
you're pretty cool,
person,
because
right,
that's
amusement
not easy.
park.
Not in a day and age
Like,
where food
Jesus
is poison
Christ.
and we're sedentary, and people act like going to the gym and eating healthy is some sort of wild achievement. So if that is you, more power to you, and I think that is really cool. But as far as these fat amusement park people go, before the woke times crashed into us and consumed us all, people seemed to understand that not everything was made or meant for them. But somewhere along this weird and awful path of fat acceptance and body positivity, we seem to have lost that ancient wisdom. For a lot of fat activists and their allies, there's this idea here that this is all about equality, that fat people, obese people, should be able to enjoy the same things as skinny people, including theme park rides. Personally, I'm not super sure what's enjoyable about having metal bars cutting into your fat rolls while you're thrown
different
about
body
on a ride,
stature
but,
than
you do
fucking
you. I'm not sure what's enjoyable
non-fat
about getting
people. Yes.
vasculitis because walking around a theme park for a few hours is akin to running a mini marathon for some people. Life is definitely not more or equally enjoyable when you are morbidly obese. It is painful, it is expensive,
Correct.
and yes, you are going to be excluded from doing some
I mean,
things
even
that
skinny
people can
yeah,
do.
even
And that's not the fault
look,
of
even
anybody
skinny
else.
people
No one's
will have
oppressing
some
you.
problem,
Society
right?
is not built
Not
to
everyone's
oppress you.
immune to
It's
fucking
because
health
these
issues.
people
Like
have
what?
built prisons out of their own skin. Not the skin, sorry, out of their own fat.
Like there's
Tired
literally
me is
some
just
people who are
envisioning an
born
actual
with health
prison, like,
issues for the,
not
right for
out
the
of
rest
fat.
of their life.
That's horrifying. Ugh. Ultimately, as much as
Right?
people like
Sometimes
this seem
people
to
are
want the world
born
to
with
accommodate
birth
them, I think it's
defects,
pretty clear
right?
that they
I mean,
fundamentally
shit
lack the
happens.
desire and motivation to do the things that will better themselves so that they can actually exist in the world normally. In the end, it genuinely upsets me that there is this cohort of people who have deliberately and intentionally handicapped themselves while
Yeah, I
acting
mean, yeah,
like they are on the
yeah,
same
exactly. These
level
people are
of
just
equivalence to
handicapping it.
people
Like
who
they're-
have actual
these people can
disabilities
actually
through no
fix
fault
their
of their
problem,
own,
but they
who
choose
ask
not
for
to
very
because they want to
little.
be
And while I
perpetual
definitely
victims
believe
for
that
life.
these people
Literally,
are
it's
adults
like
and are
what the
free
fuck?
to exist however they
Can I-
so choose, I
At
am
this point,
incredibly
you
upset by this
probably should
ongoing
throw these
attempt
people
to
in a
normalize
fat camp, and
obesity
they
to
should
the wider population.
you should
I am
force
sorry
them
that
in
theme
there.
parks don't feel like
Right.
they are accommodating your
Right.
obesity, but
The
honestly, they
internment
probably
camps
should.
for fat
Now,
people.
on that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder: check out Cook Unity using the link in the description. I am a big fan of the meals that they sent me. I do think that this is one of the better, maybe even the best meal service that I have personally tried. So
All
if
right,
this is
there you
something
have
that would
it.
work
That's
for you,
Sydney
absolutely check them
Watson.
out.
I almost
Now,
fucking
I
call
open
her.
the floor to all of you. What do you all think?
I
Are
keep
you on
doing
my side of this issue where you think
because
that
they
this
both had her
plus-size
sweet
park
Sydney.
hopping
It's
thing
like, God damn
is
it.
working to normalize obesity further? Do you think that it's really not that big of a deal and it's just a thing that these girls are doing that they enjoy and they're actually making content that might help other people who are not fat? Although actually I do agree with that one too. I do think some of this probably helps non-fat people. Do you think that this is a good thing? Do you think that it's a bad thing? Do you think that it's fair that people pick on them all the time? Do you think that they're opening themselves?
No, I mean, look, these people have opened themselves, right? I mean, I already look. I've already given my 2 cents, but I already know what she's asking. But in a sense,
Up with this sort of criticism? Do you think that
you
everybody
know,
should just leave them alone and let them
let's
enjoy
let her
themselves?
finish,
What do
and
you
then
think
I'll
of theme parks making all of
give
these
my 2
concessions for
cents
fat
on
people?
it.
Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Should we be trying to push fat people out of these environments and try to kind of unfairly encourage them to lose weight like this? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you'd like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well as leaving this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, my little chickadee noodles, I hope you stay safe and well and make good choices in the interim, and I will see your wonderful little prickly pear faces in the next video.
I mean, look, these people are right. Like I said, they're actively trying to make themselves a perpetual victim all the fucking time when they go to these amusement parks. Right? They're doing it purposefully. These people are not. They literally want the amusement park to change all of their machinery and management and everything just for these fat people. And it's like, dude, that's not gonna happen. You know, they would have to change so many fucking amusement parks just to satisfy the need of these fat people when you can just satisfy the general population. right? These fat people are a small right? They're a small population in a sense. But they keep choosing to go to fucking amusement parks where they know they can't get on these rides because of their fucking size. Like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing with your life? You're wasting money for what? To waste more money and to perpetually be a victim all the time when you can fix yourself and then, you know, get to ride these rides that you really, it seems you really want to ride, yes? So I was like, what? Why the fuck are you doing this? Yeah, also the whole fat acceptance movement, that shit needs to stop. Right. Right. People need to throw these people into a in like a fat camp. Internment camp. But yeah, there you have it. Anyways, there you have it. That was our spiel on, right, the little Disney adult situation and how humans can be fucking stupid, right? Fucking moronic fucking monkeys, yes? Anyways, there you have it. Go check out Sydney Watson and Moon. Yeah, Moon.
Scroll through Disney.
Right. And if you want to go check out more content, you know, give them like, subscribe, yeah. And comments if you need, if you want to talk about anything. Yeah. All the stuffs. There you have it.